Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Late Night Dominion. Yeah, we've been gone for a week. We're back. As you can see, our resident Mr. French is still missing. Beetle has conquered his evil disease, mostly. So, without further ado, take it away, Beetle.
Yeah. Hi. Welcome. Episode 23. We're not dead yet is the title name. We've got your normal people, Blank, Aegon drinking Sweet Baby Jesus beer. I think that's got to be like illegal in like 8 states, easily.
Well, it's chocolate peanut butter beer.
Yep, illegal. And we've got my good pal and father figure, Anhrez, onto the show tonight. And
yeah, your dad disappointed in you last week, so there you go.
Yeah, I didn't make the team. But, yeah, we're going to be talking about some good stuff. We have 2 Wildstar Wednesdays to cover, a couple other things. Be sure not to mention the League of Legends Riot skin fiasco, because Blank's not really happy about that. Just piss him off. And, yeah, Blank, let's get into the news.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the show synopsis. We're going to talk about the Wildstar Wednesdays that we missed. Going to remind you that if you have something that you want to send in to be answered tonight, send it to Kat in chat. So, and if you have a link, private message her on Twitch here, and she'll be able to get those links and put them up for you. And make sure to follow this Twitch channel to know when we go live. Hopefully here in the future we'll be able to go live with some cool stuff. Check us all out on Twitter. And like our stuff on Facebook. Before I continue with the news, what I am going to say is I was a proud owner of the Kitty Cat Katarina skin that no one else was ever supposed to get, and now Riot's decided to give them out. So if you can hear me, fuck you. I'm just saying it now. Just want to get it out. Be done with it.
Wait, let me check.
So
let me check
mad.
No, seriously.
Riot,
you know what's cool? That Nutcracker skin. Where'd you get that?
Brave.
Oh, you can't get it anymore. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Anyways, so, now that that's done, let's get into the Wildstar Weekly News with your host who's going to try not to swear anymore. What we got here first is from MMORPG, their Wildstar column. It's a tailored experience. You're going to get the link here in chat. Talks about the recently announced changes as well as how the game is trying to tailor to different play types. We want to say a big, huge congratulations to our buddy Gazzimoff. For being the new Wildstar MMORPG writer. I'm looking forward to more great articles. It's going to kind of sound like we're kissing his ass because the next one comes from his website, Mana Obscura. Talks a little bit about the myth or miracle free-to-play. And that was based off of a Forbes.com link, subscription, transition, MMORPGs, and free-to-play. The real big things here, folks, that you're really going to want to know is that Rift switched over to free-to-play, and what they reported was daily users jumped almost 300%. Players that have been inactive, 14 days plus, came back at a rate of 900%. And revenue has increased more than 5 times. The one thing I do want to note and or throw out there is that, yeah, it's nice to have big spikes, but going free-to-play that's what it is. Yeah, it's still Rift. Yeah, exactly.
Still Rift.
It's still Rift. And so you got a big shot, in your revenue stream, but it's not stability, Down here, we should have a scene here coming for you. A lot of people have been making Wildstar sculptures, and these should be some of Zilvis's. I'm going to name them all. I think we all got them in a scene. We should have a Rose Tower, a Jabbit, a Frizzlet, and a sleeping stem dragon. It looks like they're all painted now. So, those are really cool. We'd love to see people in the community being a big part of the art. And we do want to let you guys know that Forbes is working on his, I believe, in school. So when he finally gets his project done, we will have that here on the show for you folks to check out.
It's like Play-Doh.
Oh, dude, listen. One of the things I really like about the community is it's not driven by the big PvE, PvPers. Yes, they are the ones out there, drumming up things, but we see the roleplay guilds doing stuff. We see these artists, whether they're drawing or making cosplay costumes, whatever it is. It's really cool. So, I can't, dude. My stickmen try to commit suicide because they're so terrible. But we've got people out there that can sculpt and paint and sing, and that's really cool. All right.
When
the
is
next
Beatles
article,
album
folks.
coming out? Wait, when is Beatles album coming out?
When's the Beatles rap album coming out? He's in the. Aren't you in the recording studio with Snoop and Dre right now? Isn't that the deal?
Yeah, Dre's been there every day. Snoop's a little lackadaisical since becoming a lion, but it's going through the stages, and it's almost good. We're just running it straight through the auto-tuner right now. It's going to be heavily auto-tuned because that's what the kids love.
So,
makes sense.
The next one we have here was an article from Massively. They were talking about the Mechari. One of the little notes that I remember from the article was somebody mentioning like they thought the lore was wishy-washy and they wanted to know how the Cassians actually see the Mechari. The Cassians feel like they were put in place there, and obviously the Mechari were put there for a specific reason. Would they fight or not fight about it? So I thought that was interesting, and maybe we'll see Pappy respond to that. Beetle, did you have a comment about the article?
Yeah, I'd like to see Pappy respond to this because I've been leaning towards a long time making a Mechari my main, and while I might not be huge into lore, I still like to have like a cool story behind the notes and facts about them. And they're kind of mysterious, which leads to most of their lore of these like awesome assassin, left behind kind of things. But I'd like to see a response from Pappy.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple of us begging Carbine. So next weekly article you folks should check out. New York ComicCon meeting happening. It's going to be a Facebook event. Free drinks. Drink them on up. If you're in the area, go see the booth. Say hi to the folks. And if Scooter's wearing a hat, try to steal it because it's a lot of fun. Next in list here, Eurogamer 2013 Best MMOG Award. Tenton Hammer said that Wildstar, way to go. And a personal note here, biggest disappointment was ESO. So just throwing it out there, I'm just going to pick up the mic, drop it right there. They said it, not us. But anyways, the next big chunk we have is an interview from Wildstar ESP with Scooter and Anlath. These are both community manager folks. A lot of stuff to talk about. It wasn't a main topic, but there's definitely some stuff in here we wanted to make sure you folks were getting. So They said there would be no main storyline involvement in raids. Now, I didn't quite understand how this really works because they mentioned storyline will continue with endgame questing. Okay. But normally, in the games I've played, the big badass guy who's going to kill the whole world or, that you have to go fight, normally you went into raids to go combat and fight, and that's what pushed the story along. So I was kind of confused on this. Beetle, maybe you can give us a little clarity, or?
Yeah, I think what they're trying to go is they're trying to section it off from the main story, like they said with the questing. And the way that they section it off then is if there's a raid happening, let's say there's a raid out on some spaceship, well, why isn't that spaceship part of the storyline? Oh, because the spaceship hasn't been opened in 35,000 years. So it's kind of like, it doesn't need to tie into the main lore, but then it takes the chains off of them having to tie it into the main lore. Then they're allowed to say, oh yeah, there's an entire valley that's been gated off that is just a valley full of velociraptors. And they're just in there, and it makes no sense until we make the lore up for it. And then you're like, oh, that's why this has been gated off and only the highest warriors can come in there. It really leads to more creative unpredictability, ? And yeah, I think it's cool. It's just kind of like the ship hand missions. It allows them to just be like, oh, you flew a ship over here, then we can make something up,
Yeah, we got some Carbine love saying raids will have their own stories, not related to the overall world story. The idea is to let everyone experience the whole of the world story. Not everyone can do raids. See, I guess that's different for me. For me, it's still, as a hardcore raider, I'm used to, even though I didn't really get into the lore, even in World of Warcraft as a hardcore player, until, I believe, Wrath, I didn't actually read into lore and find out who was doing what and why these major players were there, but I knew who they were because I interacted with them for, raids and things like that. But I find it interesting that that's how they're going to do this, So the world will continue, it will evolve around you, and the raids aren't the main driving force for that. I think that's really unique. How that all unfolds, I have no idea, because I don't think I've ever... Right, okay, see, and that's exactly... Justice just said something about the Lich King. I remember it being like, the Lich King, or, you were not prepared. There's always that badass that you're working towards, and there's this whole thing that unfolds in front of you, but not being tied to that is kind of cool. So I'm really looking forward to see how that all unfolds.
The whole sneaky part of that is, yes, it might not be tied to the main story, but they can mention some super badass in your lore as you go, and a whole group of Chuas is scared to death of so and so. Why are they scared to death of him? Oh, it's not part of my main quest, but now I'm going to kill the Chua Lich King, or something like that, And then it's a word of mouth kind of thing.
It's like
and high justice.
Undead Wookiee, equivalent to an
Chua
undead Wookiee.
Lich King.
That'd be a scary ass Chua.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
The next part of the article, you're gonna hear a little bit of rawr, what the fucking for me, but open world PvP. Still no open world objective planned for PvP. So no contested world, no cool open world stuff. This kind of sucks, but I'm going to save my real ball of sadness in my plea farther down. And so you guys understand the way that they've explained this. You flag yourself if you're on a PvE server, you decide to opt into PvP, which they've said, but I just want to make this clear again. If you're on a PvP server and you go out of town, if it's red, it's dead. It's game on. So if you're looking for a safe place to quest and do your stuff, you might want to aim for a PvE server. If you like that sort of conflict and playing with the other faction in your PvP, you might want to consider going to that sort of a server. Beetle.
Yeah, I am so okay with no open world PvP based on the premise of war plots. The fact that the war plots, we haven't heard anything about them, but the fact that war plots are a thing and are a 40v40 type thing, there is no tear in my eye from being a hardcore World v World or in Guild Wars 2. I am just fine knowing there's something like war plots coming down the line. Aegon?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like open world objectives because they give you something to fight for in the real world, but if war plots turn out to be everything that we are dreaming they're going to be, I could live with that open world.
Alright. So, I would like to see some more, but let me explain this. I said it in a tweet earlier. Even if these sort of things aren't planned, we're going to make them a thing. The community will make them a thing. Even though there was no real open world PvP for World of Warcraft, everybody remembers fucking Torrent Mill. I know I do. Hours upon hours upon hours of ganking the shit out of people. That was not a thing. We made it a thing. Beetle?
Yeah, I mean, who's to say we can't have the great Wildstar Central Battle of 2014 out in the middle of Whitevale, where you just line up on your side, line up on their side, and just sprint at each other. I'm just going to be pressing everything. It doesn't even matter. I'm not just going to run.
But yeah, so we wanted to mention that. Next big part of this article, no localization translations planned for launch at this time. Not sure really what that means or indicates, but they'll have them in certain languages.
Yeah, okay. That's just localization. Translation is just localizing strings in the game to, Portuguese, Italian, French, Spanish, all that stuff.
Right. Here we go.
America.
I'm going to get on my soapbox. I'm going to get on my plea box. So I know some of you Carvine folks are listening. In this article, it said guild housing will not be in for release. This is my plea. Please consider this. War plots is cool. okay? It's awesome. You're going to be able to blow up each other's shit, cool. But war plots to me sound like world versus world, side
Castles.
area. Yeah, it doesn't sound like... What I would love to see is you have this housing base already. Tie it into the social system so that I'm in a guild, we can buy a fucking house, and we can put cool things in it. You've already said you're going to have these sort of things for, like, killing a boss or getting this rating or whatever. Give us what Lotro was aiming for and make it even better. I would love to have a place that you could show off your guild shit. You could, dude, for those role-playing communities that are like, oh, you're going to come in here and role-play your ass off as part of your application, cool. I would love to have something like that other games have tried to do, and Wildstar, I think, could really nail it. And yes, war plots do kind of serve that sort of function, but what I'm talking about is a social experience, which is just like housing, that is for your guild, whether it's pride, to show off your cool stuff, maybe it's your own distinct flair, whatever. So we're going to ask a couple questions here, but if you're interested in helping, and we'll do this again, I'm going to put something on Twitter right now asking Team Wildstar to consider guild housing again. So if you're interested, can you just go retweet that? That would be awesome. Anyways, that's what I have to say. I might have a little bit more, but Anhrez, what are your thoughts on this?
See, it's amazing, coming in and hearing you talk. I was very involved with SWTOR before launch, and they were one of the first dev groups that talked about their wall of crazy, about things that they'd love to do but just didn't have the mechanics or the bandwidth to do. And so when we all had our ships, the talk was, well, shouldn't we have a guild ship? Something big enough that we could do guild versus guild battles. So Warplots gives us an instant, a version of that. But, there's more than 40 people in a guild, at least in mini guilds. And if I'm going to spend time, effort, and money and make my guild house awesome, I don't necessarily want it broken down by somebody else and then I have to rebuild and buy. So I understand how Warplots can feel like guild hall lights, well, until someone comes in and unleashes a raid boss in your backyard and starts stomping around all your cool stuff. So also it does segment out the people who want to, again, role play, who want to craft, because we don't know what all crafters can do for war plots. But just think, if you're a generic crafter and you don't craft weapons, wouldn't it be cool to be able to craft cool guild-like stuff for my guild house? So I'm with you, Blake. I'll be retweeting like mad, because I think, I realize it's a tough mechanic, and maybe just like SWTOR at launch, it's on their wall of crazy, and they do understand the value of it. But I see a lot of value on it for the less than 1%ers, and people who aren't war plotters.
Beetle, did you have a couple of?
Well, I think Anhrez just kind of stole my comment there, but no, I agree 100% with them. 100% with when I thought of this and I thought of this sci-fi atmosphere, I thought of spaceships and SWTOR, and at one point on that wall of crazy they talked about guild capital ships, and I would love to see, I know from the art standpoint and stuff like that, but you throw them above, a couple main towns up in the sky, you throw, up in the texture or skybox, whatever you want to call it, a fleet of ships. Just have a fleet sitting there, in orbit that players can see, and then at some point in that area there is a teleporter to guild capital ships, guild ships, 3 for Dominion, 3 for Exile. You can upgrade them based on guild size, and just to have it in the world, so it's not, because ships most likely would have to be instanced, and if you just sit them all in like a harbor or some sort of space port, there's going to be 1,000 people at the same spaceship door going to their different guild ships. You throw them up in the air and you beam me up, Scotty, into the air, no one knows what ship's there is, and it's still kind of cool. So I think spaceships, I don't care how, but I just feel if you instance them, it's not going to be too taxing. I like it. I want guild housing, and I feel I want war plots to be a place of war. I don't want to be a place of leisure. If you come to the war plot, you better be ready to fight.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. We do have another little breaking thing that just happened. Frost, the voice of all the wonderful videos we have for Wildstar, kind of teasing tomorrow. I may or may not post a Vine of one of our raids. I need convincing. So along with begging for potential guild housing, we should definitely go retweet, favorite, poke, harass, send silly pictures to Frost so that happens. And if you're at New York is it New York? Wait, is Frost even in New York?
Yeah.
Is he?
Is he at the? I don't know. Is he?
I don't think he is.
I didn't know he was on the list that went.
I don't think he is. So I think we should make this happen. So get out there, retweet, all that sort of stuff. Pain in my butt. All right. So the next two are the topics for the show, so we're not going to get into them too much. Yeah, that's what I thought. Wildstar Wednesday system update. You're going to get a link for that. And that was last week. And this week's Cross Realm Systems, Crossing the Streams was kind of a funny name. We're going to talk about them as the topics for the show. There was a tweet. Do I have it down here? Yes. So, Anhrez, hold on to this, because we're going to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a tweet that came out that explained a little bit more, so that made us pretty happy there. So, with that, we've gone over your Wildstar weekly, actually bi-weekly this time, news. Brought you up to date with everything that was hugely important that we found. And we're going to start getting into the topics for the show. Hold on, folks. It's going to be a pretty good conversation about stuff that's going on. So, beta updates. You're going to get a scene here. These are the system updates that they've shown us. So, we're going to talk a little bit about them. Then we're going to throw some questions out, and hopefully you guys got some questions we can answer at the end of the show. You're going to see a leveling up feedback UI, and it shows stats gained, abilities unlocked, activities unlocked, features, and locations. Kind of cool stuff. They said they were trying to change how leveling up felt. Instead of just that noise, everybody knows that noise. Everyone, what's it called? Dinging. Oh, I just dinged. Grapped. Cool. They're trying to make it feel more, I don't know what the word I want, interactive, more, it's not impactful. You know what I mean? Like, it should be like this celebration of awesomeness, not just like, here's another one, you've only got fucking 49 more to go, or 50, you know, hey. So, ability loadout UI. This has abilities now sorted by type. This is assault, support, utility, and path skills. So this is DPS, tanking, heals, buffs, things like that. Beetle?
Yeah, both these images here, I mean, they're really just ease of life stuff. I mean, at the time you level up, and I can't stress just how temporary that level up UI is. Yeah, I think we get that, but we understand that is so nice for players, because I can't explain how many games I've gone through and I've leveled up and just had to search through menus to figure out what exactly I got. Mm-hmm. So if there's something that just pops up and says, hey, dummy, you're level 7 and this is what you have, go buy it. If it's like, oh, you didn't get anything, all right, then I'm going to stay out in the world and quest.
Right. So
I don't want to head back and be like, oh, what'd I get? Where am I? And my other comment would be this abilities thing is leaning more and more towards my love for the Guild Wars 1 system, and I love you guys for it, and that is all.
Alright, so you guys can, I'm not sure if you guys saw, I don't have the stream on, so I'm not sure if you've been seeing the scenes as we kind of go back and forth. Abilities can be sorted by earned and purchased. There is something called the AMP. It's character boost system, tree, not much details. Here are some questions. Maybe you guys will have some more. And I'm going to mention what I just saw that Justice said. What I want to know is, what is the base, tier system? Why is tier 4 and tier 8 larger? And
yeah.
Will we be able to actually save sets of loadouts? And just as I was getting ready to say that, Justice just said, saving and swapping limited action sets is a hotly requested internal feature. So it looks like you're going to be able to save that. This is my DPS set. This is my tank set. This is my AoE. This is my single heal. This is my flag carry. You know, you're going to be able to save these sets of loadouts, which is good because, unlike, you know, you might need one or two when you're playing World of Warcraft because, you know, you're either in one or the other. Really, there isn't a lot of variation. But from what we've seen for Wildstar, you're gonna have different sets based upon, you know, what you're going in to do, PvP, PvE, you know, in each situation. So you're gonna want to have sets that you can load in there and have it not be just a pain in the ass. Like, oh, this boss does this mechanic, you know, or we're gonna face these sort of PvP teams tonight. We should probably change to this, and not have it just be a whole pain in the ass. About the base tier system, I don't see anyone else putting questions. What I will say there is, why do those look larger? I don't know. And how is that going to work? I don't know. It kind of looked like you skilled up your abilities, and that gives me a big question mark. Are you going to be able to potentially not just earn an ability, but then skill up your ability? Puts another whole metagame level into what you put on your LAS, and switching and putting things out is just not a straight talent tree where you pick the shit that's the strongest because the math nerds tell you so.
Yeah, it's I don't know where we're at in the document, but I want to say something.
Right here.
Okay. The thing about this is, you know, the leveling up and the thing like that. It's almost like, all right, if we're going to be getting points, or do I have to spend money on this? If it's a point-based system, you almost can bring it down to like a MOBA thing. It's like, hey, be sure to max your Q before you max your E. Be sure you're maxing discharge because nullification field is poo-poo right now, and you need to be getting discharge for something. You know, it's like, if it's not money-based and it is a point-based thing, then it becomes a tree and it becomes a whole thing. It's like, hey, am I boosting this or am I boosting that? If it's a money thing, it's just like, oh, I just need to farm until I can get these all at the same level.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how that works out. We don't have a lot on that. We don't have a lot on this AMP system, but I like it. A lot of people, and I want to hear what you guys think here in chat. Like, are you really hoping, or were you hoping that we'd have like the very simplistic, you know, trees that you go down, you know, for other games, or is a system that's more customizable, that you can then play the way that you want, even though the LES is smaller than, you know, a lot of other games are, you're going to be able to customize. It's looking like you're going to be able to customize, you know, those skills and your character to, you know, really tweak yourself the way that you want. Are you guys about that? Do you like that or not? Because I personally do. It's a lot more work as a min-maxer for sure, but it allows me to play as I want to play, and allows me to try really different things. Like, maybe I want to be a crazy shieldy, you know, flag-carrying tanky dude, and see if that, you know, is a thing and works. Instead of there just being the one or two highly optimized specs. Depending on your situation, you're able to optimize for what you want to do. I'm going to run this build. Right. I can actually do this. So.
Well, and who's to say that crazy theory / want from our Crazy Wall episodes ago of, I can't remember who it was, and correct me in chat if I'm wrong, but someone asked for, as you level up skills, to have the skills change view types. So, like, let's just say that large tier 4 green button and a large tier 8 green button are milestones, but also at that point, discharge has a whole different cool explosion to it, and at tier 8, as you're charging it, you, like, go Super Saiyan. You know, it's like, who's to say that little texture change couldn't come in? I'm purple at this level, and I'm green at this level, you know?
Oh, yeah. That would be really cool. Oh, God. We say these things, and then you just make me hope. I'm like, please do these things. It'd be so cool.
And I was so against them being able to do that because it just takes so much more art time. But now I'm just seeing that big green button, and I'm not looking at how it says prototype, and I'm already locked in that that's going to happen. So.
It's confirmed in Beetle's mind.
Yeah, watermarks mean nothing to me. What is watermark?
Alright, so the last part we're going to talk about here, and let's not get too crazy and don't send me too much hate mail, but the quest system redo. So quests now have a progress bar instead of a set number of kills or collections. Difficulty of mobs killed affect rate of progression bar. So the harder the mob, the faster the quest completion. And the way they explained it is, kill little tiny dude, get 10%. Kill little tiny dude's dad, get like 25%. Kill little tiny dude's humongous, ginormous grandfather, get 50%. Love to hear you guys' thoughts and chat about that. The part here where, it's kind of like flying mounts, open tagging. You gain credit for kills no matter who is attacking. Gaining your own quest credit, experience, money, and loot. This is just like the Guild Wars 2 system. You do not even need to be grouped. My first thing that I always throw out with this is, will there be incentives to be grouped? Probably not. Does it sound cool? Yes. Does it have economic and social implications? Sure. Anyways, so we're going to talk about this one for a little bit. We're going to read what you guys say over here in chat, but first one I want to get to is Anhrez. Go ahead, man. What do you got to say here?
I did a Wildstar Bucks on this as soon as it came out, and first of all, the player and leveler and all-around nice gamer, it's a small part of me, is 100% behind the concept. The guy who plays and likes to min-max my earn worries about this, because the math tied to making the econ part of this is balanced and fair, that's complicated. I mean, because I like to see a return on my effort. So if I'm a level 1 killing a level 1, and I'm duking it out, and Beetle runs by as a level 40 and just splashes something off the backhand of his Spellslinger, and, there was no effort for him, so is the loot we both get from the same loot table 100% of the loot, or because his half-assed backswing killed 60%, I only get 40% of my loot that I was going to get from this guy? Thank you, Beetle, you bastard. Because if I'm grouping, Beetle runs by with Frost Nova equivalency, and, that's my grieving concept of helping XP, that's fine. My concept is, I have no idea how, until people get into beta and start doing some NDA or non-covered NDA stuff on this, I have no idea how they're going to manage the math on this to make it fair for both effort and damage. Same with healing. I like running around in a tank spec warrior. I never have to go back to the house. But that means I kill things slower. So I don't know. I worry.
Yeah, that's Justice puts my little comment in. Then you've killed the mob much faster, and you can move on to the next one. And you're getting your credit. But I also think, let's say me scumbag 40 coming down, I would think that at that point the loot roll would be 100% for each person, and it would roll their own. He might get one thing, you might not. You might get one thing, he might not. I don't think he can come. I don't think it's going to do the 60% of the roll. And I don't know. My big thing is I really like the progress bar thing I want to talk about. Being able to kill a larger mob to get more progress, stuff like that. The only thing I don't like about it is I'm going to be playing in a group almost 100% of the time. We're going to be killing these things faster. It just seems like it'd put the single people at a disadvantage, and then you get into the talk of, oh yeah, it's an MMO, make friends. I don't know. It's just kind of a thing. It's like it's not a big deal for me, but it could be a big deal for other people. Blank.
I like to keep talking about the competitive and hardcore people that I know are out there. If you remember we used to do stuff like this in World of Warcraft, and my good buddy Athene actually made it a whole big deal when he started power leveling and putting it on YouTube. But of course, everyone was like, "Oh wow, I can't believe this is a thing." It had been a thing for fucking ever. He was just the first one to put it on YouTube. What I worry about it, open tagging, quest credit sort of stuff is. We don't know how big group sizes are going to be to count for credit. So if I can get a group of X many people, it doesn't matter, big, small, whatever. We drag everything together, we nuke it all down, we go to the next place, we nuke everything down, and we move effectively as a group. Are we going to see, our effort rewarded? On one hand, yes, we should. On the other, people who don't have that or don't have those groups or unlike other guilds that I know of who are putting together like leveling groups and stuff like that, they're going to find themselves kind of behind the eight ball. So how do you balance those metrics? But we did get and we've heard this before, your experience is shared in a party. There could be modifiers like a subtle bonus for having more members. So your progress is lower per kill, but your TTK, which is normally time to kill, is much lower. I'm going to say that in a game with like Wildstar, where the skill ceiling is so the skill ceiling is so high, if you're able to achieve that threshold, you're able to maximize your performance, your TTK is going to be lower. And therefore, if you can organize the groups, get people together, yes, okay, the experience gain is cool. What I'm talking about is being able to smash through questing content to the point where you have to grind because you're behind where the quests are. And how do you, I don't know, I'm not a developer, how you balance that out. You've got this one group of, 20 people who are playing 18 hours, 16 hours a day, and they're smashing through content before anyone else can get to it. How do you balance that and try to make sense as a number faced against the one or two dudes who get together and just casually play? I don't know. That sounds like math, and that makes my brain hurt. So, and we've got another explanation here. If 40 people group to not all hit a mob for equal amount of damage, they will all get 1/40th XP. If you can pull mobs 40 times faster than a solo player, you'll do well, but I doubt the area spawn out densely. Part of the reason for this change is to keep your XP from kills balanced from your XP from quest. So again, we're hearing a little bit back, but I still challenge, how do you balance those metrics? Because, so 40 people get 1/40th, cool. Let's make it 10 or 20 people. Put them in a group. My job is to do nothing but pull. And I am a casual player, and we're going to make one of our casual players do nothing but pull things for us until we out-level them. And then when we know people are going to sleep, we're going to continue to pull. I'm just saying, I don't know how that gets balanced. It makes me a little nervous. I, of course, have full, confidence in, the Carbine devs to do the math and figure out how to balance that. But it's still, me as an opportunist, as a hardcore gamer, when I look at things like this, being on the same loot table doesn't bother me. The experience, because as a hardcore player, the end result is getting into raids before everyone else, getting geared up for raids before everyone else, getting into and getting gear before everyone else. So I wish them luck with balancing those who are going to try and push this content really fast to try and get to Elder Game. I'm seeing a whole lot of stuff in chat. So.
This whole thing comes down to, and I've said it in the past, I'm trusting the guys. I mean, like you said, math hurts my brain. It doesn't hurt my brain, but that's what I have Anhrez for. He's the human calculator. But it comes down to the point where it's just like, I trust them. They're making the game. I'm not making the game. I'm sure they're testing it internally, and I'm sure beta testers will be like, hey, level 60 scumbag Anhrez came by and hit my level 1 mob, and I haven't been getting XP for 20 minutes. It's the trust fall, and I'm leaning back.
Oh, for sure. We believe in you guys, absolutely. Again, I'm always very objective and subjective about my feedback and the way I see things. I understand the changes. I just am concerned how, as the big boys, the the Beta Pope Donatelli, the big guys who look at these systems. Me as a player, I think I want to maximize this, and then I'm going to put my head together with other players who want to do that. And how are we going to be able to do that? So we'll see. Anyways, with that topic done, we're going to get into some more stuff. Oh, man, I'm going to get all grumpy again, aren't I? Yep. Yeah. Okay. So this Wildstar Wednesday, folks, they talked about cross-realm systems. You should have gotten the link. By the way, I don't know who wrote this, but seriously, anyways, they're going to have a cross-realm chat, kind of like, it says Blizzard chat system. I don't remember that being for Blizzard, but you're going to, like, whisper the character name at realm name, and then you're going to be able to do it that way. And Anhrez wanted to mention something here. Anhrez, could you describe this a little bit for us?
Well, I was going to say, what we're seeing is the equivalent to an email address. I mean, you've got a name and a server actually in the request for chat. I just don't see why we, don't hope that someone at Carbine gets a little creative if John's not busy running, and opens it up enough for to have some sort of phone app or a tablet app that allows me outside the game to chat with people in the game and vice versa. Because if I have the person's name, the character name, and the server name, and I'm actually handing a blank at something, you've got a traffic cop there, why not? It'd be awesome for trying to chase down people for war plots or for raids or whatever, because a lot of us don't necessarily trade a lot of personal information with people in your guilds. Your guild is your guild, your game is your game. But if you had an app where you decided you wanted to be able to be reached outside of the game, this would be a great way to reach out. It would be awesome for role players too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All I can think of is trolling for role players. So, anyways,
well, sure,
Beetle?
but
yeah, I'm a huge sucker for phone apps that have to do with games, anything, chatting, paper dolling on a character, equipping things. My roommate is probably on his phone right now playing the GTA 5 one where he just picks up that dog's poop all day. That's cool. It's like a Tamagotchi. You give me like a pet, like a, what do they call them, Chupacabras, Anhrez? Give me a pet one of those in a phone app and I can take care of it. I'm golden. And then I can, import into the game. I'm having fun.
Or if you want to go the other way, there you go.
If you want to just give me a real one so I can finally sleep. I'm so scared. I have so many nightmares without my teddy bears. No. But yeah, I am a huge sucker for official phone apps. I was super bummed when ArenaNet said they were pulling the plug on their official phone app and we're going to release the API at a later date. Yeah. Phone apps are cool, but don't kill yourself. Try and get one out if it's crappy. Finish the game. Aegon?
Yeah, I'm with Vito on that. I mean, I loved Blizzard's app for WoW. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in it, especially like the remote auction house and stuff. There was always some handy stuff. If they want to do that, I would love to see them do it. Don't rush it at all. Get it done when it's done, when you guys have time. Finish the game first, but something like that down there would be really cool. But yeah, Blank.
Just gonna say, they have all these people working on apps and making add-ons and all this other crap. Aren't there some entrepreneurial people out there who maybe like video games that want to make these sort of things? It's not always up to Carbine to do this shit, there may be some out there that are like, oh, I've done this, or I have knowledge about it, or maybe they know somebody. Go hit them up, man. I'm sure Carbine would be like, oh, you developed this sort of shit? That would be cool. Our guys are looking for a way to, chat at home. I'd love, as a guild master, I would love to be able to have something like this where I could just be like, oh, okay, this is going on, or this is going on. I mean, yes, there's always Twitter and TeamSpeak, but having something that allows you to actually be in the game, that's, kind of cool. So that's what I wanted to say. Sometimes it's up to the community to reach out, so if you know somebody or whatever, it might be time just to send them like a little Facebook nudge. Yo, bro, what's up? Anyways, that was my thought. Beetle?
Yeah, the only thing tough with the community-driven stuff is they have a tough time getting a hold of, actual, copyrighted API, and until Carbine says, hey, we're releasing the API, it's going to be tough to do that, because, you might have something that, I don't even know how a community, without the API, I don't even know what you're going to be doing besides, making a wallpaper share, of, images off the internet. But if they release the API, I'm sure somebody will definitely do some cool stuff with it, with already all these Lua people doing add-ons and such. But I'd like to see an official release because I'd like to see an official release because I'm lame like that and I like official stuff. I don't know. I'll pay $2. Let me pay $2. Eve released theirs, and Eve's got some awesome stuff for it. There's just crazy things once you release that.
Their market website is amazing. The market website.
Yeah. Because you think that you thought of everything for you. It's oh, I'd like to chat with my friends, and then some dude out there is just you like chatting with your friends? How do you like in-game FaceTiming? I can upload their actual character sheet based on imaging I can find on their inventory stuff. Just oh, that's much cooler than my stupid idea. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
And
stop,
then they make
stop.
it.
It's getting crazy. Ready? How about a phone app where you could fuck around with the auction house? Boom. Love it. Make it happen, please. I would be sitting there yo, sorry, baby, hold on, I'm about to sell this shit. It's good, I got this, I'm selling it. Oh, I gotta buy this shit, that's super cheap.
But after Diablo 3, boy, after some of the issues they've had with that, it would be high risk but high reward, but boy, it would be high risk.
What's the difference between doing that and using the auctioneer?
People will claim there's things in between.
Yeah.
I mean, things.
The big thing with Guild Wars 2's app, they said if there are people who are on your friends list or in your guild, and you know how they had that whole living map when you pressed M, it was like you zoomed out from it. The phone app was going to be region based, and they said you'd be able to look down on the dot of your friends and see where they're at, so you could check in blank and make sure people are in the raid tunnel or whatever. It's just there's other little things that if they release it, it would be cool.
Right. Okay. So, sorry, being silly there for a second. A little bit back here, and then we'll have a little complaining time, and then we'll continue. Cross-realm party invites, cross-realm party finder. These systems can be disabled by a checkbox. Now, soapbox time. Cross-realm parties don't allow open-world adventure together, but work for any instant content. Battlegrounds, dungeons, arenas, redacted. Now, redacted meaning war plots or raids. So, the thing I put down here and what we're going to get into is why is this important? Being able to bring pretty much anyone together anywhere to wreck faces in PvP kind of bothers me. If I'm able to cross-realm, you're not on my server, not on my realm, get together with the other people that are best on their realms, what's the point of having a leaderboard then for my realm? Does it even matter? If we're in a group doing arenas for cross-realm, doesn't it kind of take away from the whole point of being the top on your realm? So now, what's considered the best? Are we just going to have this big global leaderboard that's basically hey, this person's the best of the best of the best, so you're going to be ranking based out of a cross-realm group, and that's it? Because if that's how it works, that makes me sad, Panda, and sucks. I will work around it, but I don't know. Gazzimoff said, redacted is something else unannounced. Not sure what that means, but they've already said that arenas will, be cross-realm. That bothers me for a bunch of different things. Anyways, we'll get into it a little bit more. Beetle?
Yeah, it's just something that I know the thing that's bothering you and worrying you is people could take advantage of that. Making dream teams, Scottie Pippen, MJ, Rodman, Kukoc, Longley, and
Who?
That's named
what?
off the Bulls starting Luke Longley.
Yeah.
But it's just a worrying thing, and you also said the best of the best of the best, and that always reminds me of Men in Black 1, if anybody knows what part I'm talking about. Blank, go ahead.
Okay, the next part that comes to me is... so I look like I'm really thinking. It really is bothering me, and I really wanted to wait for the show to get into it too much. The problem is, okay, you're doing an arena. Normally, you're fighting, I'm thinking system-wise. On an arena team, you're trying within your server to fight against other people on your server, or maybe even in your cross-realm, whatever. But you were ranked on your server. Maybe that's how it's going to work. That'll be you're allowed to gain your arena rating cross-realm, but you're still only ranked on your actual realm. But it's still this as a social, looking at it under the social microscope. What's the fucking point? Like, why be on this server and have some sort of cool identity? Like, we're on, I don't even know. I'm terrible at making stupid shit up. So, X
Awesome
realm.
server.
Okay, we're an awesome server, and I have no server pride when it comes to those sort of things because, the rest of these guys suck. There's only 2 other guys that I want to play with, and we picked 2 other dudes from another server. What the hell? Back in the old days, if you will, you brought them over to your server, or you went to their server, or you went to their battle group to be challenged or something like that. If this is set up the way that it's sounding like, you can do instance content with folks. It just takes away from me a lot of potential leaderboard stuff. How do you get placed? You'll definitely see people making pacts with other people, like, hey, this sounds like a huge win trading potential sort of deal. Like, yo, hey, we're going to set this party up. I'm at 1900. You need your 2K to get your shoulders. So, bro, we're going to make this team, and then we're just going to lose, and then you'll get your points. And I don't like it. It's not uncomfortable because I'm not used to it, but I like things to be the variables to be very strong. This is my server, this is my server group, these are the people that I fight against, and there's not a lot of leeway for things being ambiguous. Like, my arena group is for people on my server. At least I have to pick within other guilds and other social circles on my server. Making it cross-realm means, yo, I happen to look on the leaderboard, I happen to go to your server, I just found the best other dudes, and we're just going to boost our stuff up because we can. I don't know. I'll stop for a second. Beetle, go ahead, man. What's up?
Yeah, the leaderboard thing, looking that far into it, I think, like Gaz says, is a little too early because we don't know whether it's region-locked or server-wide. But, I mean, it is a worry. My big worry, and you just nailed it there, is the whole server identity, server pride, server group. I mean, why do I need to care when I have an instance group I run with on this other server? It's a dumb nerd thing, but I like dumb nerd things, I guess is my argument. It's like, dude, we're all about awesome server. And server dynamite over there isn't as dynamite as it used to be. Come over to awesome server where we just kind of hang out and, I got so confused with those server names. But it's a nerdy thing, but it's like, it's cool. We ran into Guild Wars 2. It was like, oh, we're transferring servers again, and now everybody hates us here, and now they're going to talk about how much they hate us. And now we're the new server, and we're not really welcome here. It's just like, I don't know. Server pride's cool.
I'm just sitting here, and this is just percolating the more I think about it. How they set this up is going to be really, really important based upon how the potential leaderboards end up being put out there. If I'm running a guild battleground and I can only field 10 people, for instance, out of 15, and I'm able to pick up 5 other super geared people, awesome. But there's just so many implications that really bother me, and I can't really explain. A lot of them are subjective. I feel like I have a really shitty argument, but what I'm thinking is like, from the econ PvP part, Anhrez, you're gonna love this.
Oh.
I'm gonna take 10 people and I'm gonna sell 5 fucking slots to anyone who wants battleground gear. Come on in.
Absolutely. Why
We're
not?
gonna do
that's
it for
true.
you.
That's
You
Why
true.
not?
want an arena
I mean,
raid, bro?
if-
I got you. You're gonna pay
If-
my guys, 3 of them or 4 of them are gonna take you in. All you gotta do is damage on who we tell you to damage. Awesome. And I know. Oh, we're getting feedback, by the way. You guys should check your mics.
Yeah.
What
Don't
I
tell me
know
what to do.
is that I'm telling you what to do. That that sort of stuff happens anyways on a server. But when it comes to this, that's just one of those things that the hairs in the back of my neck bother me, because you're not able to do those normally. I guess we'll get into the econ PvP stuff. This is how anything else good? No. All right. So another important part to note here. If you guys want to mention any more stuff, feel free to throw it in chat. We'd love to hear what you guys think about it, whether the cross-realm party stuff bothers you. No item trading cross-realm as well to protect economies.
The cross-faction, yes. Is
Exactly.
an auction house cross-faction?
AH and Commodities Exchange are cross-faction, but not cross-realm. Go ahead, Anhrez.
So, hey, Blank, can I ask you a question? Because this is something won't happen for me, but may happen for you, Beetle, and Aegon. So, you guys are awesome raid leaders, and awesome bind-on-equip item drops in the raid, right? It's not something that you would normally go for gear for the team, but it's a really good piece. You guys put it up for the guild as a role for whatever, just as a... How do you guys feel that could now go cross-faction and be used against you on the race for firsts? Because it's bad enough that someone in your own guild's not going to use it, but they're going to sell it. Second of all, it would hurt because you could drop it in to, I guess, sell it to somebody else in your faction. But to actually go opposite faction, that it could be used against you in, the PvP realm, that to me, it's interesting that there's no such thing as a neutral auction house anymore. It's just the auction house. And, from an econ standpoint, that's awesome for me, because I'd rather have more people in my auction house than less. But for people who are true faction followers, that's interesting to me.
Good, Beetle.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that, Anhrez, the whole bond and equip and then giving it to a different faction. But I think it was the last time we had you on the show, or maybe a couple times, is we were talking about crafting and having that stamp made by Anhrez on your crafted item. What if you sold that to the opposite faction and you're getting owned in an arena, so you inspect somebody from the other team, sword crafted by Anhrez? Then how do you feel?
Yeah. He's in your guild and you got killed by your own guildie's crafted weapon.
Right.
Awesome.
Let me throw. Excuse me. I'm gonna throw some knowledge down about how this actually ends up working. If you guys haven't had this experience before, the guild bank for a lot of the hardcore guilds are dedicated to generating funds for the guild. But when it comes to PvE, bind and equip drops, things that can be sold, you always equip yourself out before you equip others. And based upon this, cross-faction, no big deal. Because if you're facing one of our members who has a sword, and you have a sword that you bought off the auction house, we have that gold. Hopefully we have the better advantage with other gear that you may or may not have. And more than likely, you're exiled, so we're Dominion, we're going to stomp your face in anyways. So I'm not worried about it. Even if, when you're selling that sort of stuff, you're normally at the point where you have equipped beyond that. So you're selling off a BOE, while it may be potentially useful for others, but while it really doesn't have much of an impact for your own members. So to me, it doesn't really bother me, because
I can see that. But what about crafting mats? I gotta come at it about crafting mats, maybe.
Sure. Okay. For crafting mats, it's the same deal. We wouldn't be putting crafting mats out to sell. reward for what we were selling wasn't, exponential. I'm not going to put something that we got in a raid on the auction house to give to somebody else unless we're going to make shit tons of money and we have the ability to get more of them. Does that make sense?
Sure it does.
And that's normally what you do when you're in a raid guild or any hardcore guild and you have access to those things. Once you have a good stockpile, and that's based upon how turnover, how fast your crafters can make them, cooldowns, things like that, you then sell off your extra stores because it's not that big of a deal, and normally you do it for a premium. But honestly, if I go into a PvP match and dude 1 comes at me with Anhrez's sword, I'm more than likely going to have Anhrez's sword plus 10 of awesome to kick his ass with. Does that make sense?
That's true. No, it does.
Okay.
Statistically, yeah, you're right.
Okay. And there was another part here. Might want to... Oh, yeah, this was a note I threw up there. Might want to keep cred if you can see other faction or buy other factions cred. If you... See, they've said in the past you're not going to be able to see anything about the cred other than what's up. Of course, we won't see it early on, but there will be people who find out when people buy, when they don't buy, what faction buys at what times, things like that.
That guy.
But it will be interesting to see how that's going to work out, because it is, I don't want to be giving friggin' subscription time to the Exiles, y'all, unless you're giving me a shit ton of money and then I don't even know about it. It makes me sad,
Or again, raw gold. It's the other direction too, right? Blank is that you got to worry as a raid group PvP person. You need to know about who's rich and who's not. And I guess my other question is, and I tweeted this out: is cred a thing? You know what I mean? We know that cred is something, and it appears, and you can put it up on the Commodities Exchange. But is it an actual physical thing? So could I just trade with Beetle? Hey Beetle, here's cred. Give me gold. Or could I COD it to Aegon? And would I be willing to take 5% less gold if I could keep it in the faction of my choice?
I am going to roll the dice here. Like I've seen for other games, it's normally...
Justin said no, you cannot. No.
You cannot trade it. I think we knew you couldn't trade it. If it's double faction or whatever, and somebody's going to sell it for a lower price, or I'm going to sell it to somebody, will I be able to put it at a certain price and have somebody buy mine? Like, hey, you owe me, 30k gold. I'm going to put mine at 30k gold. Here you go. Or I'm going to undercut everyone else. Here it comes. Get ready. Boom. I don't know. Cred is a pain in the butt. All I know is I'm going to have a lot of it. I'm going to sell a lot of it, and then I'm going to throw gold all over myself every night before I log off, just so y'all know.
Yeah, it's a lot like PCP. What?
They have said you can only buy the lowest priced one on the CX. Does that mean that all you're going to see, and this is going to be great, are you only going to see, you're going to go to the CX, and you're going to go to the little thing that says cred, and you're going to open it up, and is there just going to be one that you buy, and you have to refresh, and like if you miss one, does it just keep going up and up until somebody tries to undercut? Like, that will be interesting. So, and so yeah, some of the guys are saying, I wanted to have a gold pile for my homies. Dude, this is what we did in Guild Wars 2. We did the whole, get coins, whatever the heck it was, and turn that shit in. And we were like,
gems.
Yo, we are supplying everything. Yo, you want a ballista, bro? We got you. You want the super cool ballista? We got you.
Riding on dubs.
Oh, dude, it was crazy. Oh, what was the best gear? I can't remember what the best gear was called, but we were like, hey, we've got it already. We hit max level. Ta-da. So yes, it will definitely be interesting. So, you only see the lowest one, sad face. Anyways, that is what we have for the cross-realm faction systems. We see a couple of questions coming in, and they mostly look silly, but we're gonna throw them out there anyways. Mr. Fallen Angel wants to know... Oh, yeah, wait, Peter, why don't you do this? So you can do something productive.
Yeah, so I can do something because I don't do anything on this show. I woke up like an hour before this because I got home and just fell on my bed.
We had to call him. He was like, "What? Luna Dominion, over there."
I'm drunk. I'm drunk, Dad. All right, we've got kitty cat talk today. Chicken AFK. Mr. Fallen Angel, does Anhrez have any more Dominion t-shirts? I believe Anhrez only has the Exile one.
I only have Exile, and as you can see behind me, well, there's a few that I didn't get up, but they'll be using for contest winners and stuff, because some of these are, let's say, undersized for me. So we will be giving them away, but I'm in dire need of someone at Wildstar at Carbine to dust off some actual Dominion love-based shirts. It's bad enough we had to friggin' survive years and years of Wildstar Central being nothing but Exile love, and then a limited edition PAX Carbine curse shirt that Blank's got. That's it. So I don't know who needs to do what. If not, I'm going to start printing my own goddamn shirts, and I'll maybe I'll just start printing out shirts. I'll just start walking around with my own shirts and saying, I'll have this, and I will trade it for Scooter if he wants to send me for something different. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just run down this weekend, and I'll make me and myself my own shirt, and I'll just keep wearing it until someone at Carbine decides to trade me for an actual real shirt.
Anhrez, listen, what we need to do until we get yelled at is we need to open up our own Etsy whatever stupid store and start selling fucking merch for Wildstar, and then when they're like,
hey,
where do these guys get thousands of dollars? We're like, no one else is doing it, bro. What do you want?
We can run up a server in Jerkistan. Outside of any of the EU equivalencies, we could be generating Etsy dollars by the end of the week.
Yeah.
Is this that time for our shameless plug for Cafe Press / Subterfuge Gaming? Whoops.
Yes, nice.
You should buy our shit. Buy our shit. Wear it. Wear it.
We have and this is the only custom one I actually made. I'm not saying go buy it, but I thought it was hilarious. We got one of those kitchen aprons. You know how they usually say don't kiss the cook? This one says, don't kiss me, it's almost time for raid. And I was just like, there it is. And I made that one. But that one was pretty awesome. Alright, next question. Go buy our stuff. Mr. Fallen Angel, ask the group if it's Beard Month, and did we miss the memo? For myself, It's always Beard Month. I'm just gonna go.
Obviously.
Playoffs.
Red Sox. Playoffs.
I haven't had to go to the office. It'll be actually gone tomorrow because I got to fly to work. So I work remotely, so I just let myself go to complete seed until someone at my office needs to see me. See?
Yeah. See, my office doesn't really care. Blank says this is because playoffs for some sort of sports ball game where you shoot the ball.
Basketball? Is it
You shoot it
some sports game.
Wait,
something.
The Red Sox. Oh, that's is that football team with that in DC?
That's the one with Michael Vick. Mike Vick.
That is
Sox.
That's who it is. You guys got it. Nice.
I hope your team scores plenty of touchdowns in the playoffs, Blank.
So yeah, best of luck to the South Carolina Red Sox. Mr. Fallen Angel, Beetle, what product do you put in your beard to keep it so fluffy? Like I said, marshmallows. But
yes.
I don't know. It's starting to get to the point where it just kind of does what it wants. I need to get a cool brush. This dude at work has a wood brush that has boar bristles. And it feels awesome, and it makes your beard seem so much more full and cool. Because mine's not that cool. It's just kind of all over the place. Yeah, so marshmallows. Rafe asks, do you guys think there will be a lot of... Hey, something about the game. Rafe asks, do you guys think there will be a lot of balancing questions regarding the limited action set? Do you think there will only be a few cookie cutter builds, or is it possible for multiple options to appear? We hope that it's not mostly cookie cutter, and we're hoping for a lot of different builds. I am a huge fan of limited action set myself. I really dislike WoW system of everybody you watch videos and there's just skills all over the place. Can't stand it. That's me. I will be limited action set to the day I die. and I think it just allows for more builds, more thinking to go into your builds, and not just a bunch of shit on your screen. You're just like, so blank.
I love it, especially with what we talked about earlier with the scrolling up. Oh goodness, the base tier system, tier 4, tier 7 for your skills and stuff. Linear progression is cool, but when you're given too many options, everything's convoluted and it sucks. When you're given too few options, cookie cutter happens. You want to do the best PvP damage, you do this spec. You want to do the best raid damage, you do this spec, and that's it. There's maybe a little bit of I want a little longer on my gouge, but within that, there's very little wiggle room. When you have an LES, everybody's like, oh shit, you've only got so many skills. But if you're able to level up those skills, level up what you put your points into and all this sort of stuff, it gives you the idea of a shit ton of freedom, but you're still gonna be based in those same places, just different ways of approaching it. Okay, I want to mitigate damage. Do I do it by health? Do I do it through my shield? Do I do it by trying not to get crit all the time? Or by doing damage? Am I trying to do more base damage? Am I trying to do more critical strikes? Am I trying to increase my attack speed? Whatever it is, it allows you to kind of pick one of those and aim for it. How it's going to happen, I have no idea, but I really like the idea of not everything's going to be cookie cutter. You're not going to end up going to, a YouTube channel and being like, oh, this is how you play tank warrior all the time. So
yeah, only do it this way, can't do it any other way.
Oh, there's an update. There was a server update. Now this is the only way you do your tank. No, fuck off, man. This is how I do it. This is how I do it. And there will be hopefully multiple ways that you're allowed, hopefully we see, oh, this is my AoE, tanking spec. This is my single target tanking spec. So I think that'll be really cool. Anyways,
and
we
the whole
did get
fact
another...
of possibly leveling up your skills changes that as well.
Oh yeah, big time.
Another question. Looks like our last one of the night. Do we think pure CC builds will be viable in PvP and Warplot matches? We've talked about this in other shows in the past, and we what do we call it? Shoot, does anybody remember what I called it in that last one? A breaker, was it? Someone put breaker in chat, I think. The breaker builds where you're all knockdowns and CCs and tethers. Yeah. I think it's. I don't know if it'll be viable. I really want it to be viable, and I think it's the coolest thing to be a breaker until everybody in the match figures out that you are one and just goes for you every time, worse than a healer. But I love the idea. Anhrez?
I was going to say, after we saw the pretty cool dev speak, if you could do nothing but blind and disorient, I could lose every match and still enjoy myself. Just watching people run around, running into walls, and I mean, I would giggle and giggle. Yeah, I mean, if you did not just think if you could be a healer disorientation build, oh my god, you'd sit there and keep the meat shields up and occasionally just be an asshole.
Yeah, just screaming, I'm helping. Go ahead.
As somebody who's played Wildstar PvP, as you guys saw at PAX, what I can tell you is part of your LES is balancing out what you do. If you bring nothing but CC sort of things, you're going to miss out on damage. You're going to miss out on other potential things. If that's part of your, let's take it really, really far. Your team decides you're going to bring in nothing, but everybody has to bring 2 or 3 CCs. And all we're going to do is we're going to run in, and we're just going to blow all our CCs on somebody. It's going to be difficult for you to be doing damage and healing based upon other people that you're facing. Because those CCs, because we're thinking World of Warcraft, we're thinking other games, we're not thinking action MMO. You miss your fucking CC and you're sitting on a 20 second, 30, a minute, 2 minute cooldown, your life sucks. And you don't have anything else on your bar to do. Cool, I just blew all these CCs, but 2 of them missed because the guy outskills me, and now I'm sitting on these cooldowns, and what do I have to do other than that? Not a damn thing. So, is it possible to see PRCC? Yes. Do I think it'll be smarter and that the teams we'll see will be able to balance those out so that they're able to do damage, synchronize when they want to CC, and then be able to burst and or heal as necessary? Yes. So, just wanted to throw it on out there.
All right.
It looks like that was our last one. Yeah.
Yep.
So, that's it for the show. We are going to get into some shoutouts here. You're going to get some links. I'm missing one, but what we're gonna give you a link here. We're trying to find the other ones. Wildstar Central has organized an Extra Life team for the Wildstar community. Feel free to go join them and help raise money. Wildstar Central is running one. Mod Nation is running one. There are so many people that are getting together to do stuff for Extra Life. Extra Life is a lot of fun. I've never done an Extra Life. It's around the same sort of a deal as Child's Play. Actually, I think it is a section of Child's Play. I'm not sure.
Oh, two different charities.
But I do know.
Yeah.
What's that?
They're two different charities.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of an idea, though.
Yeah, same idea,
absolutely.
but different charities.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this Extra Life one is a big nationwide one. So, like how we did our Child's Play one, we just picked a date. This Extra Life date is the 25-hour marathon. That's why there's so many teams going on. I know I'll be playing for my work team. You'll see me tweet out about it. And I'll be at work all 25 hours. I'm sure some of the Carbine people will be participating on certain teams. We'll see. You know, it's a big event.
And, you know, we here at Late Night Dominion and even our guild and the community part, we love charity work. Some of our streamers, that's what they're aiming to do if they were ever to get like their little subscribe button, things like that. So, you know, don't feel like you got to give to everybody, but there's a bunch of really cool teams out there, and every dollar that goes to charity, it's a cool thing. So whether it's the Wildstar community, Mog Nation, I'm sure Grievance has some, Guild of Umbra, I'm seeing other people. It doesn't matter who it is, it's all going to good shit, so that's cool. I will not be able to participate, but I know a lot of our members will be out there cheering people on. They'll be on Twitter, they'll be checking out streams. It's going to be awesome. So good luck to everybody that's staying up. Beetle here. Me and Beetle were the only rock stars who made our whole event, and we made it the whole 24 hours. We know what it's like, and we wish you folks luck. So the last little shout out we got here is a little plug. Next month is Movember, and Carbine is participating as Team Wildstash. So you can donate for them to shave their faces off, as I believe we were told. Actually shave real clean and grow, really growing facial hair, mustaches, chia pets. I don't really know. I'm just kidding. They're growing mustaches. So,
one question
feel free.
is, could Scooter actually even grow a beard? Well, you've seen Scooter up close, right? He's like 12.
Yeah, there's no way.
I don't think it's like a salted earth that no plant could grow.
No,
right?
He's a baby face. Yeah, I would agree. He that little it's a guy that says he's growing a mustache. It's been like 6 months, and he's got like a couple like old lady hairs. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Nice.
He was like, "That's your mustache, bro? Come on, you should just shave it off." You look like the old homeless lady down the street with the mustache. Just stop it. Stop it. Anyways, so what we want to say is poor Nixus couldn't make it. He's got a lot of real life stuff going on with college. Well, this is like after college, some sort of specialized school. So he couldn't be here. Huge thank to Anhrez for showing up tonight. We really appreciate it. And we're going to throw out our wonderful plugs here. You got at Beetle Bossy, at Real Blank Space, at Atomics1911, and what is yours, Anhrez? Is it just at Anhrez?
It's at Anhrez. Nothing complicated at all.
Cool. At Anhrez. And want to thank you guys for stopping by, guys and gals. Make sure to check out our Facebook page. Again, one of these days I might actually go look at it. I hear it has cool stuff on it. That's what I'm told. And thank you for stopping by. We put all the 2 weeks of Wildstar information in here. We look forward to hopefully giving you guys news about anything that came out at ComicCon. Let's hope next week's Wildstar Wednesday doesn't make me as ragey. And we will see you next week for Late Night Dominion. Thanks for stopping by, folks.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks,
See
guys.
y'all next week.
See you
Good night.
guys.
Night, everyone.